Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 3 Degrees podcast. We're here again, another new moon with my beautiful friends, Cathy Beckham and Sandrine Mclocklin. Did I say right, Sandrine? I never say your surname. So, welcome again. So, now we have this beautiful and kind of tricky new moon, ladies, in Leo to talk about. So, how are you? Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast. Nice to see you.
Um, yeah, it's still July here and it's warm in Aberystwyth, so I'm trying to keep cool with the window open. So if you hear the sound of seagulls, that's because I live by the sea. Yeah,
Beautiful.
so yeah, midsummer.
So, So where do we start, ladies? We have this new moon. So just to put the audience in the same page, it's nice to always remind ourselves that the new moon is the encounter of the sun and the moon, making the new, right? Every month we have the opportunity to take inspiration from one particular sign. Sign by sign, the new moon will progressing through the zodiac. Now we have the fiery Leo in the midst of a crazy world, right? And this proximity of Saturn and Neptune, which is really dissolving the concrete. And how are you seeing this? I was thinking of questions for us to think together. Where do we start? Who is the king, or what is the kingship at the moment? Which kingdom shall we are you girls are connecting with in this phase or in the world? What shall we inspire our audience to think in terms of leadership? Shall we start from there in talking about Leo? There are so many things to talk about this sign, the fixed fire.
Do you want to
Well,
go, Cathy?
if you were to describe Leo, yeah, Sandrine, tell me what qualities would you give Leo?
It's brave. The brave, the word that comes to me straight away. And yeah, shall I just stop to a word or go on? Yeah, brave. And I think we need to be brave for that new moon. So I'll
Yeah.
elaborate later. Brave.
How about you, Kathy? What's the word?
I would say Leo is king, it's sovereign, it's rulership, it's warmth, it's generosity, but it's also to do with getting other people to do the work, it's delegation. So, yeah, I think this is an opportunity for us to consider our own inner sovereignty, our own, regal position, whether we want to be king or queen, and are we bold enough to declare what it is that we want, and are we prepared to fight or defend or protect what we love against, this collective change that's coming through Pluto in Aquarius. It's big challenges to our inner sovereignty. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
think
lots of
it's a massive aspect, that new moon in opposition to Pluto. So as you said, Denise, the new moon is a time of rebirth, when we want to start something new, is really the beginning. And I think that opposition to Pluto, yeah, 2 degree exactly, it has the potential for pain, that new moon, maybe more than the potential, but it's also, potentially powerful and hopeful, uh, if we are going to be brave enough and be able to tap into what Katie just talked about, that idea of sovereignty and yeah, so that moon opposition Pluto, to me is a really big thing here.
and
That's something to resolve, that's going to require a certain amount of bravery, authenticity, the courage. I mean, Pluto's all about death, but about renewal as well. But before you have renewal, you need to let go. Yeah, you need to accept to see something, dying, symbolically or for real, really. And I think the end of July, around the new moon, a few days after the new moon, are going to be also super interesting, because we've got that Mercury retrograde there. And the moon is obviously going to progress after, but we can talk about that later. But yes, something needs to go to make place for something new to emerge, and potentially something better as well, because it's the first new moon with Uranus in aspect. I mean, the first new moon, oops, with Uranus in Gemini now, and it's at 0 degrees. So it's a nice, we have a sextile there and a trine to Pluto. So it's big.
It's big, yeah.
And just to
And
add to that, it also creates a cradle. So it kind of mirrors that. So you've got the Pluto in Aquarius, you've got the trine to Uranus, and then you've got the sextile to the new moon.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've also got that tying in with the Saturn and the Neptune, haven't you? So,
Yeah, absolutely.
you've got a lot of challenge, but you've got a lot of support.
Yeah, but also I think that Saturn, Neptune retrograde in Aries, trining the new moon, and all the other aspects which are quite dynamic. I think it's part of that opposition to Pluto. It's a kind of promise there in Aries. Okay, if you're brave enough to face your fear, to let go of certain things that needs to go, and we're going to give you visibility on that very soon, in the next few days. But if you're brave enough, then you'll be able to materialize whatever is going to emerge in Aries in your chart. But which is still at that conceptual level, because we've got Neptune there, it's all retrograde, and it's the beginning of the process, the end of the beginning.
Yeah, I see when you say courage, it reminds me of the word courage in the Latin. It's cor, the heart, and act, right? Act with the heart, and heart is one of the Leo thing, right? The Leo part of the body.
Mm-hmm.
And lots of identity with this fire, right? We have Saturn, Neptune in Aries. We have now the Sun in Leo, really putting effort to talent. I think Leo is a lot to do with talent and recognizing talents. And all this movement we have been seeing 2025 of Pisces to Aries. I think we were so deep into being like everybody else with this Piscean Neptune for many years, Saturn for the last 2.5 years. And now with all this fiery energy, and now the Sun in Leo saying, go, go girl, go do it. It's
Go and
just,
do it.
like to trust yourself. And there is an author in Brazil that he says that the power of the individual, there was one Newton, one Einstein, one big ideas, right? There's this power of what you think by yourself. And when you're put into the collective, you try to fit, but you kind of miss the spark of that individuality. So I think it's so much to do with this moment, even with Pluto, or because of Pluto really going deep. And we have to remind ourselves that the tough aspects come stronger, right? It really challenges us. I don't actually see tough aspects as bad at all, but it is very challenging, right? To really go in depth to this individuality and talents. And
yeah, I really agree with what you said, that individual saying it's a readjustment, it's a reset, how are you going to start? Because you have no choice. There's a big, there's a reset, but are you going to align yourself within that reset? Are you going to be, again, brave enough to have the courage? Yeah. Courage in French is the cœur, the heart.
The same, yeah.
Yeah.
So one image that I heard being described was to do with pruning roses. So, if you cut back a rose bush really severely, you can see that as a Pluto process, can't you? Getting rid of, cutting down. Yeah. But you do that for a reason. You do that because, in 6 months, your roses are going to come back multiplied, stronger. So I think maybe that's a nice image for us to bear in mind as we feel as though the world is crumbling around us and everything is being slashed and cut, and we feel vulnerable and unsupported. You think, no, there is a reason, there is a purpose behind this, because when it returns, it will flourish.
Yeah, and we're just coming back from Cancer, right, ladies? It's like was really deep month. Cancer was squaring this Aries, and now kind of, it's time to giving birth. We were talking about giving birth
Yeah.
last month, and now it's really time to explore what we have created, right? This creation mode in Leo. I like a lot about the creativity and the creation aspect of Leo, being
Yeah,
outward,
yeah.
right? Being
Yeah,
this
true.
young mode of action of Leo with all this speed. And I see these good aspects that you were talking about, the sextile to Uranus, the trine to Pluto, a lot of velocity. It's very speedy. How are you ladies seeing this? This movement of everything's going so fast, and the mental space with Uranus in Gemini being so, maybe chaotic at first because, just started this journey.
Well, my experience of that is one of literal dizziness. So there's me looking for explanations as to, whether it's hearing or viral or stress. And it's like, no, it's what's happening in the heavens. That's what's causing the dizziness. It's movement very quickly, isn't it?
Yes.
I've been noting actually just a bit before the new moon. I've been noting since Uranus ingressed in Gemini, I've seen, so I don't know what you think about that, on social media, on people around, and maybe it ties with that Saturn Neptune retrograde in Aries as well. People wanting to hold back a bit on all the tech aspect of thing. Actually, I've seen this group of mom reinstating landlines in the home, or people who don't want to have their white appliances to be connected to Wi-Fi, for example. And even me, actually, on the 7th of July, and it wasn't intentional at all. I woke up, and the night before, I spent too much time on my phone and I was really tired. And I thought I got to get the phone out of the bedroom, but it's because I use it as my alarm clock. So I thought I'm gonna buy myself one of these old-fashioned, wind-up alarm. And then I started noticing all this stuff actually of people having actually wanting to step back a bit because maybe that's what you said, it's going too fast. And it feels like nearly we sat on the edge of the precipice because that's Uranus just coming in and but not quite going to stay yet. And we've got this retrograde planet behind that's holding back a bit. And I just think, it already feels dizzy, but wait, when actually Uranus come back for good in Gemini, in February, I think the speed is going to be, we're going to be caught in a kind of vortex of, technological thing. And there was, so sorry, I'm going to try to be shorter. In parallel to that, I saw as well on the 7th of July, I think it's the AI program powered by Google Gemini. Have you seen that? From the 7th of July,
Yeah.
it would be allowed to access all your messages, all your everything in
Really?
yeah. And I thought, wow, on the 7th of July. I was wondering, do they have an astrologer actually at Microsoft? Have they timed that deliberately? I would imagine not. But I saw this too, and Gemini, it's very there's an ambivalence, there's a duality. You got on one side, you can see that stuff happening, it's going to be all pervasive, yeah, it's going to take over our life. And on the other side, you got that movement, hold on, this is going too fast. And that new moon, to come back, because actually we're doing a recording about the new moon, so sorry. But yeah, that new moon as well, in opposition to Pluto, there is a fear element here. And you know, so then it's whether they are imagined fear or distorted, or I don't know, but there's an element of anxiety here,
Yeah.
which is linked to all Aquarius stuff.
So do you see, ladies, I was thinking also this Leo and very fiery energy about we are unfortunately seeing wars and this movement of leadership or impatience or more energy now to act more firmly with this fiery energy. So do you think we shall see movements, especially in opposition with Pluto,
Yeah,
about
definitely.
bigger leadership teams? Because both are very leadership, right? Leo is leadership, Pluto is leadership. I'm seeing that. So asking
Yeah,
ladies.
I don't know, Katy, if you want to go, but I've got something to me on the chart that really spoke to me in that regard.
Um,
Well, I was just
I did.
Sorry, go, yeah, go.
I did have a question I wanted to ask Denise about the ascendant, because in the UK, I've got the ascendant for the new moon as Capricorn,
Mm,
which then
it,
is being,
sorry.
the key planet. So does that work where you are as well for
Yeah,
ascendant?
usually I have the audience in Brazil, but now we are doing all in the content in English, so that's fine. So it's also a Capricorn ascendant.
Interesting.
It's interesting, and
Yeah.
keep going because I will see if I find from other countries to comment that I was researching. But go ahead,
Yeah,
Kathy.
the Saturn means that you need that pragmatic leadership, doesn't it? You know, you need that structure with the Pluto and with the Leo. So you need cool heads. That's what Saturn
Yeah.
hopefully will bring.
Yeah, I met a very wise man that said we need to have the cool mind and warm heart. And I love that because it's like we need so much. It's a Leo thing, and it's also this
And
Gemini,
Aquarius.
and I love that. I think it's a Buddhist saying as well. I think it's Buddha also. The guy, not the wise guy, the wise guy saying that. But Sandrine, you're saying something else. I don't know, Kathy, if you finished
And we
or
were talking about the potential for unrest and something quite explosive. And actually, I was looking at the part of the chart which are empty. So you got Libra, and Sagittarius, and well, to some extent, okay, you got there's the ascendant in Capricorn, which is important. I was thinking actually Libra speaks about fairness and justice, and you can see Venus is in Gemini with Uranus, and I think maybe what we are going to want to manifest or seek or think about is going to be all these ideas of fairness and justice, and Venus here might be a bit on edge, although it's not, they're not, Uranus and Venus are not conjunct, but yet they're in the same sign. So to me, I was thinking, our art is empty spaces in the chart are going to be filled, and I thought Venus is going to seek that element of freedom, but also revolt, rebellion. Sagittarius, which tend to signify vision and what's next, and wisdom, and you can see Jupiter is still in Cancer, and here we still have that idea of tradition and origin. And I was thinking maybe the one of the messages all of that new moon is we need to know where we come from to know where we're going, and in that way these empty spaces in that chart were making sense to me. But definitely that Venus and Uranus in Gemini to me is screaming unrest and revolt and opposition, really.
And Venus is also square to Mars, isn't she?
Yes,
Oh yeah, actually, yeah.
definitely.
Yeah,
Such a good point.
and to the North Node.
And
Mm-mm.
which house for England, Kathy, the new moon falls for the UK?
Um, I'm not 100% sure.
7.
Is it
Seven.
seventh?
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
For,
So
seven.
that house of relationships and open enemies.
yes. And
Yeah.
for Brazil, it's the 8th, so it's a huge economic issue, which makes sense.
Yeah.
We were talking about the ascendant, and it's nice to see how different approach to the new moon, the house where the news and what's going to be more visible to a particular place. So for the UK, the seventh house. And I was looking for instance, for this new moon. For the US, for example, the ascendant is Scorpio.
Scorpio, right.
Scorpio, and the new moon falls in the ninth house.
Right.
So it's a power energy, right?
Yeah, and there's Lilith then, so there's that element of unknown, potential unknown. And the fact that Saturn is retrograde, we have the ascendant here in the UK in Capricorn, next to Neptune retrograde. I mean, to me, there is also, there's that need to have that kind of focus, mindset, and discipline, but there's also an element of maybe we're a bit wobbly. And that's why I'm also curious of, the new moon is on the 24th. I'm curious to see what is going to be activated around the 28th when the moon hits the South Node and Mars. Because I think this is where we're going to be, when we are going to be shown, potentially, what actually needs to go. And Mars as well is, has strong connection with Capricorn. So, and it's going to be the moon is going to be in opposition with the North Node, so showing us the way. I think the new moon has also that potential for, an element of confusion, lack of clarity in the first, at the time and, couple of days. I think the moon is getting to Mars on the 28th. So 24, 25, 26, maybe, wait and see type of thing, but, or still seeking some kind of clarity, which will be given to us. And even before that, I mean, then there's Mercury as well, the contact with Mercury. So, yeah.
And all of that, because Saturn and Neptune, the cycle, I call this the cycle of disorder, because it really dissolves the concrete. The closest it gets in 2025 is end of July, beginning of August. So we are going through so much with this conjunction, and the new moon inspires us leadership topics and all we have been talking about. But I was also thinking as an inspiration for us in the audience, and thinking a lot about that yesterday, about pride, to be proud of what we have been doing, acknowledging what we have done so far. Yesterday, I was talking to my daughter, who is a Virgo, and was really being critical, right, about her accomplishments. And I thought, well, you're not seeing how much you have done in 6 months. You're just not paying attention to it. And she looked at me like surprised. I said, well, you have done so much in only 6 months. So I think Leo brings this sense of acknowledge what you're good at. What are you proud of? So what do you think about when we talk about this pride?
Well, I think it ties in with self-esteem. How much do you think you're worth? Do you have the strength of character to be able to say what you need, what you want, without coming across as being too grandiose? So I think, that's lovely for other people to tell us that they admire what we do. But I think when we come across as being too proud, it can attract criticism. So it's that sort of, you have to tread that carefully, don't you? Of wanting to be confident, but acknowledging that you're part of something bigger. And if you want acclaim, then you need to impress people with what it is that you do. But when the people see what it is that you do, give you that praise, then you can glow and feel. So I think what you did for your daughter was lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe that Mercury retrograde as well, talking about, acknowledging what you've achieved, and be proud of it, and maybe reclaiming as well who you are, actually. Maybe if you've had to tone it down, to suit, others or narratives, and maybe that Mercury retrograde is that it's a moment of, hold on, actually, am I being honest in my word, in my action? And again, in that Pluto retrograde opposition to that new moon, forcing that sense of authenticity and that need for it at a time where it's becoming important, in fact, because if we want to manifest something new, as we are going to do in Aries, we better do it from a place of truth and authenticity, really. And actually, talking about the UK where it falls the house 7, I wish I had our prime minister as a chart, but there's no there's no time for his chart, so we don't know the houses. But he's got a lot in Virgo,
Oh,
and
really?
I'm very curious to see what's going to happen there.
Yeah, and all that self esteem and confidence and talent at the same time, that's huge to have the South Node conjunct to Mars, right? At this new moon, and this Mars in Virgo, this paying attention to the details, to making this thinking the small things, or thinking habits, or thinking it's like in the word now in English for me, but when you are cleaning all the stuff that it doesn't work anymore, right? Like it's the two aspects into this cleaning what's not working. I'm using the word cleaning, the verb cleaning. I don't know if it's a good one, but thinking Virgo in a way of discerning what works, what doesn't work, and the South Node being this pressure.
Do you think Mars is coming here to do some tidy up?
I think so.
It's in
Rather
Virgo,
than
what do you
getting on with
expect?
things. Yeah? Getting on with things or tidy up? You're
Well,
gonna
it's
say
Virgo,
tidy up.
isn't
You're
it?
gonna say tidy up because you've been
I
doing
think
it.
so. I think so.
Well, it's sorting the wheat from the chaff. It's like the quality. That's what Virgo is.
And
But going back to the Leo, what we've just had here in Aberystwyth University is graduation, and I think that highlights how important rites of passages are in
yeah,
terms of development and achievement and ritual and ceremony and acknowledgement. And, I think if we had more rites of passages to acknowledge achievements, then that is the time to shine, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's beautiful. You made me think of Mircea Eliade, Kathy, when he wrote The Sacred and the Profane, and he was saying that when we are in the rituals,
Yeah.
we don't have time. Like we transcend time. When you are within the ritual, you could be like centuries ago, right? You feel so connected to the ritual that we transcend time. It's beyond time. When you are, the ritual connects you through space and time, and it's so important, the rituals. And I love what you said about this accomplishment being Leo.
Yeah, yeah. And
And
being acknowledged and being framed and staged and supported and acknowledged, it's good Leo stuff.
yeah, and taking care of the shadow, as you were pointing out, Kathy, because something that intrigues me in Leo, all my time studying astrology, when it's not properly being used, the seek for attention is kind of shows a lack of self-confidence, right? And in Leo can be even stronger. You have lots of Leo in contrast on being the shadow of Leo. It could be the lack of self-confidence by this constant need for attention, or to be
Validated.
validated in
Yeah.
the center of the attention. Could be tricky, right?
just made me think what you were saying, Denise, about the power of ritual. And so we got that new moon opposing Pluto, which is really urging us, forcing us to ditch, to let something go, yeah, which can be painful. Actually, the South Node is doing just a sextile to Oh no, I'm so sorry, my mistake. It's not exact, but that's that connection to Lilith, yeah, in Scorpio, which adds to that sense of, we need to let something go at the time of that new moon, something that will be revealed to us around the new moon anyway, or that will get more clarity. But there's that idea of the past, there's that idea beyond time, in fact, like we might not grasp where it's coming from, yet it's there. It's the South Node in connection to Lilith, and Mars is going to come here and cut some of the ties there, some of the past. Um, and and I like to think about Virgo and Libra together as well, because you said, Kathy, it's sorting the wheat from the
From
chaff.
the chaff. Yeah, yeah.
And you can see Virgo doing that. And then maybe if there's some bit you're unsure, sometimes you sort your, I don't know, you sort your clothes out and you're not sure you're going to give that to the charity shop yet. I think Libra comes behind and she said, yes, definitely this is going, yeah. And that's why that Venus in Gemini, along with Uranus, I think we are going to have to be brave, but I think we may as well have that sense of urgency and maybe a kind of impulse. So in Leo as well, there's that idea that we need to be in control of our emotion and tap into a more rational thinking. Yeah. But maybe I would say it's a new moon that, again, I said potentially painful, but potentially powerful. And you can see, you cannot look at the chart the element of the chart in isolation. Once you start looking at the conversation flows between all of them, and yeah, something from the past needs to go at that new moon. There's a before and after. There's a rite of passage, maybe in itself, maybe that new moon is part of a ritual of some sort.
And yeah, and I like the fact, although it's not so maybe could be analyzed in different ways, but the ascendant being Capricorn for our both countries gives some grounding, because look at that, it's all fire and air energy. It's very creative, but at the same time, it could be very chaotic, right? Because this creativity of fire and air creativity is chaotic by nature. It's no stability, right? And we are coming from this deep emotional season in Cancer, and all of a sudden we have Sun, Moon, Saturn, Neptune, and Mercury in fire signs, right? This energy of the self, Aries, being really questioned. Who are we, right? We are in the midst of this, who are we, so deep. And I think it's so powerful at the same time, because I think we are in a moment that we are reconstructing civilization. I think it's very deep and very historical what we're going through. We're going to talk a lot about that in the following months, and now we have this Leo energy, like go for it. But this Capricorn might be good to say, don't go so quick, because it's really quick movement, right?
Yeah, put the brakes on.
The need for structure anyway. Whatever we build we're gonna have to bring some structure to it and some discipline. And Jupiter in Cancer as well, opposite that. Jupiter is still there, opposite, and Jupiter is saying, you need to build from from something. You don't create out of nothing. Yeah, actually. We've done that. I mean, we've been talking about these things, but you don't create out of the blue. It has to come from somewhere, and yeah. So I still think tradition, values, family are things to be reckoned with in a time that promise us as well unrest, volatility. Anxiety as well. We can find comfort in these places. And some stuff have to go, but not everything.
But ladies, think about it. We still have this Jupiter in Cancer, very well positioned, thank God.
Yeah.
But imagine next year, Jupiter in Leo. Just
I don't want to think about that.
Joining the team of fire.
Yeah.
crazy
At a personal
fires.
level, it's not a nice house for me. I'm just dreading it, actually.
I think it's very good to take advantage of this Jupiter in Cancer.
Yes.
Just, go within, create this development within, because once in Leo, it's gonna be fast, right? Because this air
Mm-mm.
and fire, it's going to be very fast. So
Yeah, there's an interesting conversation coming with that Jupiter in Leo, I think, coming in terms of, new leadership, and
yes,
it's going to be interesting to see. I can see some stuff already, I think, coming with that. The picture being drawn, which is all that Saturn and Neptune. The picture is, the collective consciousness is still at the drawing board, I think. And when Jupiter comes into that, I think we're gonna see people coming, leaders, really strong people coming in and
yeah.
implement the design, the new design for humanity,
And
for the better or
uh,
for worse, actually.
and it's so powerful, although it's so scary at the moment, this Saturn Neptune really demolishing the self. On the other hand, we can recreate, right? It's such a questioning on the self.
If we let go of, if we let some stuff die, which is what that opposition is telling us again, we need to go through the pain. I mean, it's my thing for that new moon. Are you prepared to suffer, to 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 to, to produce something better?
Yeah, it's like giving birth, isn't it? You
Yeah.
have to go through the pain, but then you forget the pain when the baby's arrived.
Yeah, let's focus on that one.
And to be born as a baby, you don't fit in the belly anymore, right? It's like that's gone. Like you're never
You
gonna
got that
fit
emptiness
again.
feeling.
You're never gonna fit again in the old situations. Like you don't fit. It's like an uterus, right? When we are giving birth to something new, we don't fit. Literally, we don't fit. It's crazy. I think this Cancerian thing again.
Yeah, constant reinvention of ourselves anyway.
So my question to you then is, what do you want to give birth to next? What do you want to create? What seeds are you going to plant on this new moon?
Uh, let's think about that. To me, it's falling in my seventh house, sixth to seventh house, but more seventh house. Yeah, lots going on in the life of my husband at the moment. So I'm seeing myself giving support and being there and being open to focus on relationship to support. So yeah, so I'm seeing myself there. But I really love this fiery energy. Being a Sagittarius, I love Leo. I think it's an inspiration, and it's an inspiration to whatever we have done in Cancer. Now we're able to put out in the world. I like this energy of out. The introverts will not agree with me, but it's like this extroversion of Leo
Your
inspired
daughter
me.
will balance that out for you, yeah? As a good Virgo, she'll come and, yeah?
Yeah. So yeah, so I think it's an inspiration to share. I don't know. I see this sharing, this outwardness in Leo. How about you, ladies?
Katie, what do you want out of it?
So for the last 6 weeks, Tim, my husband, and I and our band have been taking our music externally, sharing it in public. Today, we've begun the recording process. So I'm seeing us recording an album as the seeds. So hopefully, in 6 months' time, when it's all
Solio.
recorded and mastered and we're ready to distribute, I can then step into that Leo.
Amazing. Very Leo, yeah.
Yeah, very Leo.
And Kathy,
Yeah.
we're talking
Yeah.
about 12th house. Isn't it a little cave of recording in the back of the stage? There is a kind of a back of the stage right
Behind
there.
the scenes, isn't
Backstage,
it? Behind
yeah,
the
yeah.
scenes, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Before it emerged in the one,
Yes.
in the
Yes,
first. Yeah.
that's another way of seeing this.
The 12th house
The
anyway, yeah,
12th
that's
house, yeah.
backstage. It's my 8th house, 7 and 8. So yeah, time of changes, of decisions. And I want to find enough clarity to go through the changes and keep, be brave and hopeful that it's going to be for the better. And it's remembering that in chaos there's promise of a new order somewhere. Yeah.
For sure there
Gotta
is.
keep the faith.
Yeah. At Jupiter, yeah. Anyway.
So ladies, I think we covered. Any final thoughts? Would you like to say something we didn't? Did you catch something in the chart that we should share with our beautiful audience?
I think I said pretty much what I wanted to say, really, just to sum it up in one word. It's a time of letting go to, so something, again, it's potentially painful, but potentially powerful, that new moon. And keep an eye open on the next few days. That might give you more information on what actually needs to be eliminated, cleansed, to make place for something new. But I think it's about going through the painful thing first, and and try as well to maybe be on top of our emotion. In Leo, there's that challenge of managing emotion and being stronger than So yeah. So good luck, everyone, and to myself
So
included.
for
See you
me,
next month.
Pluto is about what you can't see.
Mm.
So you don't know what's going to come. So I would say clear out your closet, make room, prune your roses, and get ready for something new.
Put some lipstick on, yeah? That's your thing.
I've got my lipstick on today.
Yeah, very well. Thank you very much. See you
Thank you,
next
everyone. So if you got into this video first, so you can see all of us, we're going to leave in the description where you find us, the Instagrams where you can find us too. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Happy New Year, everyone. Bye, girls.
Thank you. Bye-bye.